everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, June 13th, 2021. Like her or leave her, Tara Locke is the talk of the town. And she's the talk of the Y&R chatters, too. The name on everyone's lips this week is Tara. So many comments about Tara. Even set our poll question from last week aside. Everybody's talking about Tara Locke. This woman has kept us guessing every single day what she is up to. Or if anything, she might be up to nothing. I don't know. But now this week, we have a new little piece of information about her. She has an estranged brother. What could that be? Who could that be? I am absolutely enthralled. This is my favorite story. I am absolutely enthralled, in fact, with both Tara and Ashland. I think they're both great. They have taken Genoa City by storm. Their characters, their story has slowly eclipsed all of the other stories on the show and all the other characters on the show. Like, these are the two that I am excited to tune in to find out what they're up to every single day. And it's probably because I don't know who they are. And I'm dying to find out. I don't even mind the fact that I was completely wrong last week on my theory that Tara had made up Ashland's ultimatum just to bait Kyle. I'm not even mad about the fact that I was wrong because I'm just having a blast speculating about it all. The show's fun right now. Really, really fun right now. And again, I don't mind being wrong because I'm starting to wonder if I was wrong about Tara switching those paternity test results. The majority of Y&R chatters, though, including myself, voted last week, 75% that she did it, that she rigged them, that she's up to no good. 25% of you saying, no, I don't think she rigged the test results. And even though I voted yes, I am starting to wonder if we're wrong. I feel like Y&R is doing an excellent job these days of playing into our soap opera expectations. Because as a longtime soap opera fan, I feel like I am far more prepared to find out that Tara is the Loch Ness Monster than I am to find out that she's just a decent person. Oh. But just like with our pregnancy speculations, I think Y&R knows that the fans are going to get all worked up over a paternity test. I mean, pregnancies and paternity tests, those are the meat and potatoes of the soap opera genre. We fans are like dogs chewing on a bone when it comes to pregnancies and or paternity tests, and I have definitely been leading the bone-chewing charge. Early in the week, Ashland took a phone call telling someone that this was not the news he wanted to hear. Which could mean that he got his own paternity test results back and it confirmed that Tara is telling the truth, that Harrison is not his son. Or, I don't know, based on Friday's preview where Ashland is telling Victoria that he had a doctor's appointment in New York. Everyone's assuming that he's going to New York to talk to his lawyers, but he's actually gone to New York for a doctor's appointment. And then he tells Victoria, quote, "It's might be too late for a lot of things." I don't know. Maybe it had nothing to do with the paternity test at all. Maybe Ashland had a fertility test and realized that he can't have more children, or he could be right in the middle of another health crisis right after his heart attack. He could be dying or something. I hope not. It just keeps me guessing. I'm just guessing and guessing and guessing all week, every week. I love it. After Ashland took that phone call, though, he immediately showed up at the Abbott door, and he was indeed expecting Tara to choose to cut Kyle out of Harrison's life completely in exchange for a partial custody deal arrangement. But much to Tara and Kyle's surprise, Ashland had yet another change of heart on the spot and told Kyle and Tara that he will agree to shared custody with Tara as long as Kyle's time comes out of her time, and that any time that Kyle spends with Harrison, it's on Tara. He still gets his 50% of the kid. Well, that seems very fair, right? Very, very fair. But it also seems too good to be true. From the outside looking in, it seems like it could be suspicious. Summer and Jack both told Kyle and Tara to just be relieved that Ashland had this change of heart. Maybe it is all going to work out. Maybe it's the best of both worlds and everybody wins. But Tara and Kyle are both stuck now on a worry wheel, and they can't accept it to be at face value. And Tara almost seems happy to keep the worry wheel going, maybe because it keeps her connected to Kyle, keeps her bonded to him. But I don't know, Kyle and Tara's lives are already fully intertwined now. They share a son. He's already trying to help her establish roots in Genoa City so that they can continue to spend time together and time with their son. Kyle even asked Lauren to set up a meeting for Tara to try to get her to talk about getting her shoe line picked up at Fenmore's department stores, which Tara turned down due to her very busy and dramatic personal life. She's too busy to worry about business. She has to focus on her marital just dissolving right now. She has to focus on the fact that her marriage is falling apart. Too busy to make money. Why would a woman who is facing a divorce with no compensation coming out of it turn down a business deal that could make her some money? Why would she not at least refer Lauren to one of her employees? See, I keep going back and forth. The cynical side of me says, well, if Tara is not worried about income, then she must have some other backup plan for how she's going to make some money. It's been very well established that she's getting nothing from this divorce. Oh, but then the non-cynical side of me this week was watching her kind of stumble around the living room alone with her big blue watery eyes after finding out that Ashland had gone to New York not alone, but with another woman. And, you know, she seems to have loved Ashland. She was seeming to fight for the marriage early when they came into town. She was defending him. She seemed to want to keep her family together. She wanted Kyle to stay away so that she could keep her family together with Ashland. So, I mean, I feel for her if what she's feeling is the fact that, you know, this marriage to a man that she seems to have loved is now over. Well, that makes me not suspicious of her. That just makes me want to hand her a tissue. So maybe I'm wrong about Tara being the Loch Ness monster behind it all along, carefully calculating all along, but I still don't trust her. I still think she's suspicious somehow. I have no evidence, but I feel like she's suspicious. Early in the week, Ashland was having dinner with Victoria at Society, and they were talking about relationships, they were talking about parenting, and Ashland ended up confiding the whole truth to Victoria about what was going on with Tara, both the divorce and the paternity situation. And Victoria was, of course, encouraging Ashland to fight for his son. So she also may have been the catalyst for his change of heart when it came to the custody arrangement. But what I really found interesting about that scene was, and what I was really honed in too about this scene, was the way that Ashland was describing the way that he and Tara met. She was working for, I guess it was some kind of high-end auction house or something, and she had no money to speak of her own, but he characterized Tara as seeming to really love his money. She didn't really have a whole lot of money of her own, but she loved his money, and he was seeming to feel, in retrospect, like Tara got what she wanted from him. Meanwhile, Tara, at that same time that Ashland and Victoria were having that conversation, Tara was having her own late-night conversation with Jack. Lonely, sentimental, lovelorn Jack. And I thought to myself, could she possibly be setting her sights on yet another wealthy man? Maybe she does have feelings for Kyle. Maybe she did have her sights set on him, but is it possible she's beginning to realize that Jack would make an easier target? Or I don't know, maybe they would just genuinely be falling in love. There is so much potential here everywhere. And what I think would have made a really interesting twist is if Sally were to find out information about Tara that would suggest that Jack and Kyle are both being conned, because that would set up a situation where Sally could have the opportunity to make the right choice. Sally could save the day and possibly earn back Jack's trust. I'm sure all of that is out the window now, but this week we have this whole new bone to chew on. What Tara told Jack was that she has a brother. Jack was talking about his brother Billy, and Tara said, yeah, I have a brother too, but we're estranged. So Tara has this brother who she doesn't speak to, who lives in another state. I think she said Virginia. And I'm wondering, does this guy maybe have some information on Tara that could be useful to me in solving the mystery of Tara and what she wants? Or is it possible that the brother might be someone who Y&R viewers already know from the past? Ooh, we need someone like Mariah to get to the bottom of this. Mariah had a very chilly run-in with Tara at the coffee house this week, and I liked that a lot. Mariah was eavesdropping on Tara's phone conversation with her lawyer, and then interrupted Tara and started to talk to her and about the conversation she just had. And Tara said, excuse me, I guess I forgot I'm not in New York anymore, where people have better things to do than to just listen in on strangers' phone calls. And Mariah said, yeah, you're in a small town now where people care about their friends, and if they overhear something about their friend, they're going to say something about it. Welcome to Genoa City. That was cool. Thumbs up, Mariah Copeland. That was cool. That is one of the things that I love about Mariah right there. That whole interaction was awkward and weird, and Mariah was very inquisitive in her very awkward and weird way, yet she was also threatening at the same time. That was just a great clash of personalities and deliveries, because those two are very opposite. Tara is very tight and precise, and Mariah is, she's a klutz. She is a big old klutz. And I liked watching Tara also poise herself to respond to Mariah's questions. And I thought that Tara did a very good job of explaining herself and making you want to believe her. But Tara always does a good job of explaining herself and making you want to believe her. We need Mariah. We need Mariah to do some follow-up here. Mariah seemed, whether she had any reason to or not, Mariah seemed to have Tara's number right away. And I'm asking myself, well, is it a con artist thing? Is it a con to con thing? Is it a takes one to know one kind of thing? I never thought that I would say this, but I don't think that I could live without Summer on my screen right now. She is so beautiful every single day, and she is so raw every single day. Abby actually gives Summer the opposite advice of Sharon and Jack. Abby tells Summer to be bold. Go get Kyle and keep your eye on Tara. So there was this great scene where after talking to Abby, Summer goes home and she picks out the perfect nightie for Kyle. And I thought this was just such a fantastic, realistic touch. Watching Summer plucking through her lingerie drawer. She pulled out one of the pieces, looked at it, decided that it wasn't just right, so she puts it back, chooses another one, and decides that this is the one for tonight. And I don't know, I just thought that was such a simple moment that really drew me into her world. Summer's lingerie drawer, and the choice of which one, like the thought process that went into why she chose that one. Why did she choose that one? Has Kyle seen that one before? Was it one of his favorites, or was this a little something new that she was saving for just the right occasion? Those are just the small little touches that make the whole world seem fleshed out. At the Abbott house, Tara had told Kyle not to worry about everything she had just said about cutting him out of Harrison's life. Just go ahead and read him a bedtime story, and I'll decide later if you'll ever see him again. Okay. I don't know why Tara just got forgiven. I thought that was awfully rude. But Kyle reads Harrison his bedtime story. Very sweet moment with Tara looking on. But then when Kyle got home from reading Daddy and Me, he gets home to a little fiance and me action. Summer gives him the sexy lingerie show, and they make love, and she tells him that she wants to put a fast track on the wedding now. Last week the wedding was called off. This week it's on a fast track. Yeah, I'd say Summer's fast turnaround there seemed a little desperate. Like she was grasping at straws. Especially since those two looked so happy together. They just made love. Kyle goes off to take a shower, and suddenly she sees a rather polite message coming through from Tara to Kyle's phone. And Tara was just like thanking Kyle for spending time with Harrison, and Summer seemed to feel very deflated by that. Summer has got to develop some confidence here. Summer has got to know that Kyle loves her, and she's got to trust that. She knows that he's just trying to do the right thing by her son, but of course that it's just not stopping her from feeling insecure about Tara, especially when they have a son together, and they've had this common enemy to fight together, and it seems almost like Tara wants to keep that fight going. But I don't know. Summer and Kyle have decided they're moving forward with this wedding. We have a wedding to plan. I'm sure that Phyllis will want to personally pick the cake because she is going to be stuffing it into her face all night long to keep her mouth occupied from objecting to the wedding. What a great touch. Kyle and Summer bring the parents into the loop. telling them that they want to move forward fast with the wedding. And Phyllis was just hilariously concerned about moving forward now in the midst of Kyle's paternity drama. That was just a fun scene. Watching the elders of the show who have made their fair of relationship mistakes, watching them be concerned about the new generation, that was fun. But at the end of the day, Summer and Kyle are big kids. Phyllis, Nick, and Jack decided to put their concerns aside, decided to listen to Summer and Kyle's argument for why they want to get married now, and ultimately the parents were satisfied that the kids know what they're doing. I mean, I would probably do the same thing too. I mean, if Kyle and Summer feel committed already, then why not make it official? Tara seemed not quite so happy with Kyle and Summer making things official. Not only did Kyle turn around and introduce Summer to Harrison, about time, without Tara knowing, but Kyle also told Tara personally that the wedding's back on and that he filed some of his own court papers to establish his paternity of Harrison. So I think Tara was starting to feel left out of it all. Kyle's with Summer, Summer's with her son, and her husband's now moving on. I think Tara is feeling increasingly isolated. I mean, she was polite and happy to Kyle for him in his life, but the second he walked away, she was shaking her head a little bit. And I don't know if that shaking of her head was more about the paternity papers that he had filed, or if it was about the wedding to Summer, or if it was just both and all of the above. Well, if Tara does want to stir up some trouble for Kyle and Summer, she has officially been given a nudge to do so. Tara had an opportunistic run-in with Sally Spectra. And I will say, to my surprise, Tara wasn't exactly fast to jump on board with Sally's suggestion that they team up to accomplish a common goal to get Summer out of the way. I would have expected, given my inclination on Tara, that she definitely would have been for the plan. But Tara's reaction to Sally was more indignance, which is kind of how Tara reacts to everyone and everything. She's just indignant about everything and everyone. But then Tara got home and she was watching a scene where Kyle and Summer were happily playing with Harrison. Tara was seeing Kyle and Summer establishing their own family around Harrison while, planning their wedding in the background. And I don't know, maybe Tara's wheels started to turn. Maybe she started to think twice about Sally's deal. Sally also followed up with Ashland, tried to force him to materialize this Milan fashion house job offer, which is something that would not only get Summer out of the way for her, but it would also get Kyle out of the way for Ashland. So Ashland tells Sally that he's just one investor in this fashion company. If she wants Summer to be offered this job in Milan, then she's going to have to talk to the owner of the fashion company, Eric Forrester. Da, 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 da! Well, I must say, I do love Eric Forrester. I was very happy to see his face in the previews for next week. I love Eric Forrester. I love a B&B crossover. But is that all Sally is good for these days? A crossover moment? I don't know. I'm going to make that a poll question for you guys this week at yrchat.com. Do you like what Sally Spectra is bringing to Y&R? Do you like who she's bringing to Y&R? Like, is Sally a slam dunk for you? Do you like it? Do you like Sally's presence on the show? Does it leave you wanting more Sally? Or are you over it and ready to move on and let her ship sail off to another show? I'm curious to know, because we've been talking a lot about Sally and her motives this week, and I definitely feel like there could be more. I'm going to vote, yeah, I like Sally, because I want more of her. I definitely feel like what's happening with her is a little bit lacking. I mean, overall, I like Sally's vibe, and I don't mind Sneaky Sally. I kind of like Sneaky Sally, but she's isolated from everyone else, which makes her stick out like a sore thumb. And I don't think that Y&R has done a very good job of writing her motive around this whole summer thing. I don't know why Sally would be sticking her neck out so far just to get Summer out of the way. What is the motivation there? She wants Summer's job? She wants a thorn out of her side? It's just kind of weak reasoning. And if Sally just wanted to go after someone, then why not Phyllis? It should be Phyllis. Phyllis is the one who talked Jack out of forgiving Sally's mistakes. I mean, Summer has maybe the job that Sally wants, but Phyllis cost Sally the man that she was so-called in love with. Billy Abbott is never one to turn his back on a good story. Whether it's that Restless style or Chance.com, he is ready to print all of the scoop that's fit to dupe. Oh, to his own detriment, if we're honest. Billy and Lily invite Jack over for a lovely housewarming dinner in their new apartment. It was supposed to be all pleasantries, all politeness, but Billy could not stop himself from asking Jack, pressuring Jack for answers about why Tara Locke and her son were staying at the Abbott house and what more information Jack knows about Ashland Locke and that divorce. It's none of your business, Billy, and Jack made it clear that he didn't really want to talk about it. Oh, Smiling Jack tried his very best to deflect Billy's hard questioning, but at a certain point, Jack just blurted out that Harrison is his grandson. So there, now you have it, Billy. Just drop it. Please don't go printing any story that's going to hurt another innocent kid, okay? But I don't know, Billy, I just think he can't help it. Billy is like a dog with a bone. Billy is like a Y&R fan with a paternity test. He just can't help himself from questioning. Oh, I really hope that Billy and Lily's sleepover with the kids next week goes a lot better than dinner with Jack went this week. Jack tossed his napkin on the table and left abruptly. Hey, in those previews, Johnny is asking Billy if Lily is Daddy's new wife, and I was laughing out loud with the sharp cut to Billy's shocked face. I am looking forward to seeing exactly how he answers that question. That's going to be a fun scene to look forward to next week. Oh boy. Lily wants so bad to be a good, I don't know, not really a stepmother, but she wants the kids to like her. She wants them to have a good time. Lily's got a lot riding on this. It's not going to be Lily who screws anything up. It's going to be Billy. Oh. Lily made Billy promise that he is going to leave the Locke story alone. And I'm sure that's exactly what Billy's going to do. Right? Right. He's going to stop asking questions. He's going to forget all about printing this story that involves a Newman Media board member. I mean, Ashland is on the board at Newman Media. I'm sure Billy's totally going to leave that alone. Oh, he also had a coffee break with Victoria this week, claiming that he's got a new view. I'll believe it when I see it. Victoria's got a new view, too, of Ashland Lock. Fun. Exactly what I wanted. Victoria and Ashland. Fun, fun, fun. Oh, but there's danger all around. There's warnings all around. Billy warned Victoria that she's treading in dangerous waters, and she told him, you live your life and I will live mine. Okay? But he's not going to do that. Billy and Jack were able to smooth things out after the nightmare dinner party, and Jack was the one who ended up telling Billy that that Ashland and Victoria were both in New York City together. Jack was kind of the first one to put together the pieces of, gee, Victoria went to New York and Ashland went to New York too. And Billy had to call Victoria. After Jack said that, he had to rush right onto the phone to call Victoria at the end of Friday's show, just because he doesn't like it. He doesn't like Victoria hanging around this Ashland Lock, but I think that Victoria very much enjoys having this little gem of interest for Billy, something to make him pay attention to her. But I most certainly do think that Victoria also feels good about having Ashland's attention on her too. And she is making him work for it. Ashland asked Victoria if he could whisk her away for a dinner date in a different zip code. And she said no many, many times. She really made him beg. She said, no, well, yes, I suppose. Playing it just right. Oh. And Victoria sat there right in front of Nikki, taking Ashland's phone call with a big smile on her face, practically twirling the phone cord in her fingers. Oh, it has been a long time since anyone has made Victoria Newman seem giddy, girlish even. Nikki questioned Victoria about the phone call and the date. Nikki has to make sure to warn Victoria about dating a man who is, gasp, ruthless. Have you met Kettle? Oh, but Victoria just insists that she's just allowing herself to have some fun, exactly like exactly like Nikki has been hounding her to do for ages. For ages, Nikki has been saying, "Oh, you need to take a step back from work. You need to have a little bit of fun." And now Victoria is actually doing it, and Nikki doesn't like it. Victoria argues that this is fun. She's just having fun. It's not even all that serious. She's just simply having some impure thoughts about Ashland Lock. Ooh. She might even have sex with him in New York. It's all fun and impure thoughts, Nikki. Not every relationship has to be like the whole codependent thing that you have going on with Dad. Ooh, burn! Burn! I cannot believe Victoria said that. Not every relationship has to be that whole codependent thing that you have going on with Dad. And Nikki said, I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that. I'm just going to let that one go for your own good. But hey, I get it. I totally get it. I think Victoria is entitled to her life. She is entitled to her privacy. She told her mom to butt out. And I also like that she told Nikki, I'm an adult. I don't want to tell my mother all my secrets. Way to go, Victoria. I feel like that moment made Victoria seem more human and more youthful even. Like she was dodging her mom's questions like a professional teenager. Oh, Billy claims he's got a new view. Adam claims he's got a new view. The only person not making attempts to rise above at all is Victor. Victor still wants to use Newman Media to take a swing at Billy Boy Abbott, but Adam is blocking it every time. Adam tells Victor that he's trying to do something here. He's trying to run a business. Isn't that what you hired me for, Pops? Oh, I cannot imagine that Victor is going to be satisfied for very much longer to let Adam just have his way. So, what's the catalyst going to be that starts the internal war there between them? And will it have anything to do with Chelsea? I don't know. I mean, it seems like there's going to be an internal battle between Victor and Adam and an external battle between Newman Media and Chancecom. But, you know, the slanderous news articles here and there are not going to be enough. Like, something is actually going to happen. It's going to need to happen to really get the party started. Right now, it's just all warnings and speculations, and Nikki clomped her way downtown through Adam's office door this week, just like Phyllis did a few weeks ago. Had to warn Adam in person that he had better not break her husband's heart. Victor is a wilting flower, and if Adam were to clip him, he would just die. I don't know about that. I do appreciate Nikki and all of the stank face that she had to offer in those scenes. It's good to know that she has got Victor's back, but Victor is not a wilting flower. Victor does not need protecting from Adam. Victor is the prototype of Adam. Let's be honest. If anything, Adam needs to be protected from Victor. Adam pays his second visit to Chelsea in the hospital, and they talked about Connor, and Chelsea almost seemed to be warming toward Adam a little bit. Well, I mean, she didn't throw a book at his head or anything, so I would call that progress. I don't know, maybe she was just faking. Because she also had to pull herself back from almost bragging to Adam that, you know, her time there at the mental institution is just a ruse, and that she is, in fact, even colder and even more calculating than he thinks she is. You could tell she really wanted to take credit for how much she pulled the wool over his eyes, but she knew it was in her best interest not to. She also did warn him to not even think about crossing her. But it's odd because Chelsea doesn't maybe know this, but Adam does seem to be one of Chelsea's best allies at the moment. Adam is trying to protect their son. He is trying to protect her future even. Adam suspects that Ray is still investigating Chelsea, but I don't know, that whole scene at the coffee house that we saw in the previews last week where Adam confronts Ray and says that he didn't like what Ray was doing with Chelsea. All of that happened before Ray had even been to visit Chelsea again. Like, that scene should have taken place after Ray visited Chelsea again. I mean, I don't know, I want Adam to have a reason to be mad at Ray, to go after Ray. I want Ray to do something to earn it. But at that point, when Adam was coming into the coffee house saying he didn't like what Ray was doing, Ray was happy to be done with the case. Like, you can't overturn a not guilty verdict. And so anything else, in any other way that Ray was about to be involved with Chelsea had to just be personal. It was later in the week that Ray kind of got forced into the position of following up on Michael's suspicion that maybe Chloe, his sister-in-law, had something to do with helping Chelsea out with her crime. But again, I know I said it last week, but I'll say it again. Any questions that Michael and Ray have really should have been addressed weeks ago. Why is this just dawning on them now? I guess it's just Chloe's time to shine. She knows that she's in the hot seat. She knows that the police are still investigating the crime. Add to that, she's running out of money. I mean, trying to raise 2 kids on Kevin's police helper's salary. They really should have stayed with Esther at the Chance Manch. They should have stayed at the Chance Manch. It's that mortgage on the new house that's really weighing them down. Oh, well, maybe we could cram a couple more into the Chance Manch. Or Chloe could swallow her pride. And that's exactly what she did. She agrees to take Adam's job offer for herself and for her own future, but also for Chelsea's future too. Only when Chloe tells Chelsea that she's taken Adam's offer, Chelsea starts feeling more desperate than ever. Chelsea feels like there's nothing that she can do to get out from under Adam's control. He wants to control her son, her friends, her business, her freedom. I don't know. I think Chelsea might be busting through the brick wall of that mental institution soon. I think Chelsea might just bust through the wall and run off into the mist. One flew through the cuckoo's nest. Y&R Chatter, Daisy called it last week. Last week, we, in the comments section, we're starting to kick around the idea, based on Daisy's suggestion, that maybe Naya was the one who killed Richard. And this week, I am starting to think that might be the case. Amanda finds out that Richard actually had an appointment with her foster parents. Like the PI dropped off some boxes of paperwork from Amanda's old foster family, and it included a stack of old calendars. And boom, right there on the front page of Amanda's foster mother's calendar was Richard's name. Oh, you're my foster daughter's father? You're searching for your long-lost child? Hang on a minute, I'll pencil you in on Tuesday. Great! That's going to come in handy someday for a future investigation. Oh, but for Amanda, this just means that her father was even closer to her than she realized. That is also just feeds her theory that her father's murder had absolutely nothing to do with business or Newman Enterprises or anything like that, which is the only argument that she's being allowed to pursue. Or at least that's what Imani was telling her, that that's what she has to do. She has to pursue the argument that this is all about business. Grandfather does not want to pursue that there was any kind of personal angle that Richard was going for. Grandfather does not want Naya's name brought into this at all. But why? 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 Couldn't it be that Naya killed Richard, repressed the memory, and nobody wants to do or say anything now that will crack Naya open? I don't know. Amanda confronts Imani about Sutton and why he's tying her hands on this case. And Amanda demands to have a meeting with Sutton, but he refuses to budge. He does not want to change the strategy. And so Amanda calls his bluff. She says she's moving full steam ahead with the strategy, and she's going to expose the personal relationship and everything that happened with Naya and the baby because that's what she believes will win the case. But then she tells Sutton, this is what I'm going to do, and if you don't like it, then go ahead and fire me. And it sounds like that's what Sutton was going to do. Sounds like he's going to be willing to fire Amanda to still keep that a secret. Sutton ran into Victor in the Grand Phoenix Hotel lobby at the very end of Friday's show, and he called Victor out on being Amanda's source at Newman Enterprises and said that he was going to have to fire his attorney. But he also let slip that Amanda was his granddaughter. He tried really quickly to cover it up, but Victor wasn't buying it. Victor then places a phone call to Amanda, wanting to find out exactly what her connection to Sutton Ames is, and presumably they're going to be meeting next week. And I love this because they're going to be meeting not to talk about Richard, but Victor wants to talk about Sutton. So the other day, I was at the grocery store, and as I turned the corner to come down a new aisle, I could not believe my eyes. There, right in front of me, was Ask MD Now's sexy spokesman, Nate Hastings. Can you believe that? Well, I rushed right up to him, trying to think of something to say, and before I could realize what I was doing, I was undressing myself right there in the soup aisle, asking him to look at a mole for me. What could I say? It was the quickest thing I could think of. Oh, well, I was charmed by Nate's little story, obviously. As he was chitty-chatting with Imani, someone had stood him up. Someone didn't show up for their coffee meeting, so he had a few minutes to chit-chat with Imani. Oh, it was going perfectly well, too. And then Elena walked through the door. And of course, like the second I saw Elena's face at the door, I was like, go away, Elena. Just turn around, close the door, and walk away. You are not needed here. You are too late for the date. You blew it once again. Bye. But when Imani left, Elena sat down. She talked to Nate privately and explained that she had just been offered an out-of-town job, asked Nate if there was any reason he could think of why she should not take it. My first instinct, I'm not going to lie, was no, just take the job and go. Just whatever you do, make sure to rent Lola's apartment out to somebody else so somebody else can use that set, but just go ahead and go then. Nope, no reason to say bye. Devon's with Amanda, Nate's with Imani. Bye. But, okay, I will say on second thought, I realized that I really like the idea of a Nate, Imani, Elena triangle, and not just because it would make Nate the center of attention, although I like that too, but it also gives Nate a choice. I feel like Elena is the one he wants. At the end of the day, he wants Elena. He just feels like he shouldn't go there again. But Nate and Elena share a passion for the same career field. They have a lot in common and they share a history. But that history is not all positive. And Imani, on the other hand, is fresh. She's new. She's got no baggage that we know of. But, you know, getting to know someone new is hard, especially when you're kind of in love with somebody else. So for me, I'm taking a step back. And I'm realizing that, you know what, this actually does set up an interesting love triangle and an interesting choice for Nate. You are not going to ruin my fantasies with your hard dose of reality. I loved that quote last week. It was Abby. Abby was talking to Nina about the movie making business. Nina was coming back into town, talking about, you know, everything she was doing with her script, and Abby didn't want to hear all of the technical details. She just wanted to know that it was movie magic. Nina was there to give the hard dose of reality, and Abby was not having it. She wanted to keep her fantasy. I can identify. That was a hard one. It was, Abby said to Nina about the movie making business and only 4 people guessed it right. So I have to give an extra big congratulations to Jamie, Henry, Daisy, and good old Marky. You guys guessed it. That was a fun one. How about a serious one? I don't know. This just sort of spoke to me this week. I feel there's a lot of truth here. How about this? Trust is earned by actions, not promises. I mean, you gotta admit that's true. Trust is earned by actions, not promises. Who said it? If you think you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your congratulations on next week's Y&R Chat. Well, about the idea of Elena leaving, Superplex says, no, Elena, don't go. We need you. I hope this is just a mechanism to arrange a love triangle between Dr. Nate, Elena, and Imani. Dr. Elena is too warm, likable, and approachable to let go from this show. Particularly when you compare her to Imani, she's definitely someone we can root for and empathize with. Imani, in contrast, has the allure of a supermodel, look but don't touch. Yeah, I think that's right. That's exactly what I do like about it too, Superplex, because I'm all ramped up and ready for Nate and Imani, but Elena brings a lot to the table. Elena has owned the mistakes that she's made. She just seems like she's a very compassionate character. There's a lot to like about Elena too. So this really does set up, all joking aside, does set up a really nice love triangle for Nate. Now my question is, I feel like I've heard some people saying, ooh, is Elena leaving? And I haven't found, or is Brittany Sarpy leaving? And I haven't seen anything to confirm that Brittany Sarpy is leaving the show at all. So my assumption is that this is part of a continuing story. Not that she is leaving the show, but I don't know. I mean, nothing's been confirmed that I know of. I can tell you that for sure. Not at the time of this recording anyway. Sandra says, well, this is the first time I've seen real chemistry with Nate and anyone else. Imani and Nate seem to have sparks. I'm kind of hoping this is going somewhere. Yeah, I was getting the sparks too. I also like that Superplex kind of calls her a supermodel, because I don't know if you've noticed, but her skin is perfect. Her makeup is perfect. Like, really look at Imani next week. Her makeup, it almost looks like soft or something. It's soft and smooth. She just has the perfect makeup job. She's really, really pretty, but I do think that Imani is going to be more on the sassy, sneaky side, whereas you've got Elena on the more, like, you know, real girl side. Which is why it's a good choice for Nate. A little something from column A, a little something from column B. Hey, we gotta hear what Daisy says about this Amanda situation, because she was certainly hitting on the Naya guilt concept here last week. So let's see what Daisy has to say this week. I wonder if Amanda's grandfather is trying to point the finger at the Newmans, because there would be a lot of attention turned to Victor and his company rather than the person he's trying to protect. Naya. Maybe an oldie but a goodie. A very young Imani overheard her mother and Richard arguing, got scared, and pushed Richard to get him away from her mother. But he lost balance and fell, maybe hit his head, and later died of an injury, and Sutton and Naya don't want all of that to come out, so they're trying to put the focus elsewhere. Oh, but Victor knows. He always knows. I like that. Oh, yes. So an oldie but a goodie. Yes, we were just... So it sounds sort of familiar from recent history. Yes. Yes, it certainly could be that Imani is involved. Maybe she, as a child, did do something and knows something. I was more reading it from, gee, I wonder if Imani just knows that her mom's hiding something or is off or had a traumatic experience. But I like your idea that Imani saw what happened. That definitely puts her way more front and center on this. It gives her a motive and all of the reason to do whatever cover-up she may or may not be doing. I don't know. Imani is constantly telling Amanda, hey, I don't know anything more than you do. I mean, Amanda said, if I'm going to pursue this, if you know anything, now would be the time to tell me. And Imani keeps saying, no, I don't know anything. But I'm not buying it. T. Nicole says, I I would love to know if that scene where Phyllis grabs the cinnamon bun to take a bite was improvised, because it was hilarious. The look on Nick's face and then Kyle's made me think that the actors weren't expecting that. I had to rewatch it a couple times. Yes, Tina Cole Phyllis and the cinnamon bun was hilarious. That was a giant, almost like oversized prop cinnamon roll. I didn't expect it to be real, but then when she just went for it, she was practically like, bring me the vacuum cleaner, I'm going in. I loved that. Michelle Stafford is she's so good at comedy. That was a great comedic moment, and I love the idea that maybe it was impromptu. Maybe the other people on set weren't expecting her to do it, and that added a little bit of flavor to the scene. Yeah, Michelle Stafford gives me the expect the unexpected vibe about working with her. She seems like she probably does keep things spicy on set, and it really translates through the screen. Well, Diana says, as much as I don't like Sally's character very much on Y&R, I have to admit I enjoy when Sally makes comments to Summer to get under her skin. The drama makes Summer's character a lot more interesting. Sally's comments really peeve and ruffle Summer to the core. You can see it in Summer's facial expression. Sally knows all the right words to say to push Summer's buttons. I think Sally's comment to Summer about Kyle talking to Lauren about possibly giving Tara a job so that she can lay roots in Genoa City was really worried Summer. Yes, Diana, and that little look that Sally gave as she walked away, like, I don't know. I mean, yes, there's a very nice little rivalry chemistry between Sally and Summer, and I think they're a nice two sides of a coin kind of rivalry as opposed to Sally and Phyllis, who are a little more alike. I like the Sally and Summer rivalry too. I like what Sally's bringing to Y&R. I'm going to be interested to see what everybody else has to say on that poll. Do you like Sally enough to want to keep her? Tina Cole says, do we think that Summer will take the job? If there are any rumblings that Hunter King is on break, then yeah, I would assume Summer would take the job. But if the actress is not on a break from the show she's doing, I don't see how she could be away from Genoa City for so long. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know. Nothing has been announced in terms of Hunter King leaving the show or Brittany Sarpy. So it's maybe Y&R's kind of doing what they did with Lola, and that they're leaving a little bit of space for whichever way it goes. Seems like maybe a lot of people are out trying to get some new opportunities now. I mean, a lot of actors and actresses had to stop any other job searches, and a lot of filming had to stop, over the past year when the restrictions were very, very in place. And so maybe now more people are getting out, trying to do more things, make a little bit of side money. But again, I haven't heard anything official about anybody leaving the show. But Tina Cole also says, I'm curious why Sally wouldn't just go for the dream job in Italy herself. I still don't understand what it is about Summer's job that she so desperately wants. I don't know if Summer's job has a connection to Sally's aunt or something. I don't think so, Tina Cole. I think it's just, it's a miss on the motive for Sally. It's really surprising because these writers have just been so strong. I mean, they have given us fully fleshed out characters from A to Z with like Tara and Ashland. And I mean, even like Summer now, she's like yanking on my heart every single episode. But there's something missing with Sally and her motive. And you make a great point. Just take the job in Milan. If this job is so great, then just talk to Ashland about having it for yourself. Talk to Eric about having it for yourself. Well, I mean, there's nothing keeping Sally in Genoa City. Wouldn't she way rather be in Milan? Well, on our poll question from last week, did Tara rig Harrison's paternity test results? 75% yes, 25% no. Astra says, it's Soaps 101. The first DNA test is always tampered with. And Tony says, it's Genoa City. Everybody carries a DNA test kit in their pocket, just in case. And everybody has access to the lab to alter the results. No doubt, no doubt. I'm still waiting for Elena and Amanda to become pregnant at the same time, though. So it's so hard to drop those soapy expectations, but I'm starting to ask myself if maybe it's red herring. Maybe they are just excellently playing into our expectations and then making it be something else. Well, TB84 says Tara is a very good strategist. Now we're starting to notice it more and more. Unlike Ashland, she prefers to operate with calmness and showing herself as a victim, and then she can manipulate almost everyone, definitely Jack and Kyle. Mariah sensed that Tara is not who she appears to be. She fooled us all, actually. Well, me for sure. She was this poor little bird in a cage under Ashland's command, but truly, she is the master manipulator. We still don't know everything, though, but so far, well played, Tara. Well played. Samuel says she definitely did not rig the results. Y&R would never come up with this storyline if they were going to do that. And Sue W. also says no. I just don't see Tara as an all-powerful Machiavellian puppeteer plotting to wreak havoc in the Abbotts' lives. Nor do I think she orchestrated the attack on Chabot, as some have suggested. Ashland was perfectly capable and motivated to do so himself. It makes sense that he has earned his success and reputation in the business world on his own, not due to his trophy wife manipulating it all. The only possible Tara the Destroyer plot that I could buy is maybe if they were friends and he knew her paternity secret. Oh, maybe if they were friends and if he knew her paternity secret that Theo recruited Tara. Although I can't think what incentive she would have to mess with Kyle and all the Abbotts. But rig the results? Nah. Go ahead, Y&R. Prove me wrong happily. I would enjoy that twist, especially if it brings Theo back. Yeah, I've heard, we're all kind of waiting for Theo to come back too, right? I mean, he would be a great person to rope back into this story, but I appreciate your point. Especially that, yeah, I mean, look, Ashland earned that reputation on his own. If he's the big bad guy, there's every possibility that he's the one that orchestrated the attack on Chabot. Again, I'm just like, I'm, as a soap opera fan, far more prepared for the twist than for not. Ellen says, I think Harrison is probably Kyle's, but mainly because the actors who play Ashland and Tara have 1-year contracts. Then Harrison can go live with Chemo, since Kyle is Jack's son, a chip off the old block, and forevermore we shall never speak of the boy again. Shh. Marianne V says, I think Harrison is Kyle's, but something is up with Tara. Why, after all these years, is it time to involve Kyle? Something is amiss. And Mark says, I think this story is going to have many layers. Tara, on the page, has been written as a damsel in distress. However, the actress that Y&R hired literally has fire in her eyes. There is a juxtaposition that haywires my brain. Something will come of that. Also, I can't help but wonder if Adam is somehow involved. Remember, Adam worked on Wall Street all those many moons ago. I bet you that he knew Ashland back then. Adam hates Billy Abbott, and Kyle is Billy's nephew. Here we have the Newmans and the Locks teaming up against the Abbotts. Oh, yeah, no doubt. Oh, yeah, the Newmans and the Locks teaming up against the Abbotts is for sure where the battle lines are drawn. If Adam had a connection to Ashland, they've had some interactions, and they did seem very personal. I mean, they talked about their wives and divorces and stuff, so I could see Adam and Ashland having a surprise connection. That'd be another good twist. Oh, Sue W. also left a follow-up comment to say, my takeaway still is that Tara had no hidden agenda coming to Genoa City with the paternity reveal. But now she's gradually seeing Kyle in a new light, finding herself drawn to his kindness and starting to long for a love like he has with Summer. I'm really liking the characters of both Tara and Ashland more and more every day. The actors are terrific, and I hope they have juicy stories continue to build. Certainly, Victoria is making Ashland appear increasingly appealing, and Tara is holding her own with each established character she encounters. Yes! Sue W., she is holding her own with each established character she encounters. Man, couldn't have said it better myself. But I think also you're so reasonable. Yeah, this is so, your assessment of this is so good and so reasonable, because it is very understandable and relatable that maybe Tara didn't have an agenda, that maybe she came to town. Now she's just kind of realizing that she's all alone through this mess of her own, that she realizes she's responsible for, she had the affair, she lied about it, she's maybe in a mea culpa kind of situation, and then off on the side, she's looking at Kyle and thinking, why didn't I just have a life with him? He's a really great guy, but he's with Summer, he's planning his wedding, and yeah, I sure would maybe like to have a little bit of that myself and raise my child with his son. So that's very, yes, that's the sort of more rational, non-soapy through line for it all, and it's very good. I really like your comments, Sue. Jamie says, poor Summer. Tara is fixing to put down roots in Genoa City and make it her mission to snag Kyle. I couldn't tell if Tara looked mad or sad right before she turned on the tears for Kyle, but it's suspicious. Yeah, I mean, Jamie, that's the thing. It's like, I'm having a hard time reading her too. I don't know if she's mad. I don't know if she's sad. I don't know if she's up to something, not up to something. The actress is doing a great job. The writing is great. Like, I just keep flopping back and forth on my opinion of her. I don't know where I'm going to land. Man, I want to know what the issue with the brother is. I'm going to need something. I just need something to go on. Victoria says there has to be more to Tara's recounting of Harrison's emergency visit. Either something more happened or it's a deflection from information which would cause more damage if Kyle knew. You know, I didn't know what to make of that either. Tara told this story of how she left Harrison with the nanny and went out with a couple of friends. While she was gone, he had a little bit of an accident. I don't know, hurt his chin, a little cut, something, went to the emergency room. But then when Ashland got home, he blamed her for it. He felt that Tara should have been there on site watching him, and that there was a little bit of resentment there in their marriage, and that every time they got in an argument afterward, Ashland was throwing that in her face. So she was worried that Ashland was going to do that in court. Like, if that's what he did in our marriage, what's he going to do when the marriage is over? But yes, I mean, again, it's like, well, is it true? Is it not true? Because it seems like one of those things that you would just understand was an accident. But when there's an underlying resentment there between the husband and wife, it's kind of not about the kid. It might have been more about Ashland's underlying feeling that his wife wasn't taking care of his kid and that she was off doing her partying thing. Because Tara has said, I like to throw parties. I was doing parties. You know, that's where she met Kyle, at the parties. So he must have had some kind of sense that that's what Tara wanted for her life. She was trying to have fun, and he felt that she should have been home with their sons. And again, it's all very, like, understandable from both points of view. I think the point of that story, I don't know if it's going to come back around or if it's ever going to be used. But I'll give you this from Ellen. Ellen says, who enters into a marriage with a business mogul and signs a prenup that gives them nothing on the divorce? No one. That's who. Okay, well, see, now here's my suspicious mind at work again. I can't help it. Raised on soap since age 13. Okay, so could Tara have been poisoning Ashland? Is it possible she'd been poisoning Ashland or something? Like, so that before the divorce is final, he could get sick and she'd be hoping that he could die, and then maybe since they're still married, she could get some of his assets. Okay, I know it's a little bit far-fetched, but he had that phone call with his doctor. If he's sick, I'm going to suspect Tara. It's all Tara's fault. Everything that goes wrong, it's all Tara's fault. Anything suspicious in town, it's Tara. It's like the new Adam Newman syndrome, right? Anything wrong, it's Adam's fault. No, now it's Tara. That's what it is. It's all had to shift off of Adam and on to Tara. Oh, I do like her though. Like, that's the thing. I'm intrigued. It's like an excitement. I want to know who she is. She's good, if she's bad, it doesn't matter. I want to know. And as a fan, that's just the fun part. I've always just really liked predicting storylines though too. That's sort of a big part of the appeal for me, is I just like to predict. Whether I'm right or wrong, I really like to form my little opinion and get a good prediction out there. It's just fun. Oh, well, let's talk about Ashland and Victoria, because Leslie says, I do not think that Victoria is using Ashland to make Billy jealous. She likes him, and I don't blame her. So, Leslie, you're finding Ashland Locke to be sexy. He's a good-looking man. Yeah, I agree. Sherrod says, I think that Victoria does like Ashland, but she is also using her time with him to keep an eye on the business at hand between Ashland and Newman Media. So there's another good theory that we really haven't talked about. That, yeah, she probably is interested in Ashland. She probably likes the attention. And, yeah, she probably likes that it gets Billy to pay a little bit of attention to her, too. But then there's the element of Ashland being involved in Newman Media, her father's company. And Victoria acting like she's not, not into that, not doing anything. I mean, she got kind of burned in that deal. And yet she forgave Ashland pretty quickly. She didn't let it linger. He screwed her over in that deal, and she really didn't let it linger. So it's every possibility that Victoria is working a job here, too, to get information about Newman Media. Or, even if she just gets something that could be helpful to her. Maybe it's not a long game. Maybe it's just a little info here or there and a curiosity. But I didn't make that connection before, Sherrod, and you did. That's good. Real good. Alan says, is tabloid-type publishing another type of gambling for Billy? Is getting a juicy, trending story just another way for him to get the rush he used to get from gambling? Billy can't seem to stop himself when he should. Gambling, hating Adam, tabloid stories. It's just all addictions that give Billy a rush that he craves. Today he told Victoria that he's learning from his mistakes, but I'll believe it when I see it. I really like that you brought this up, Ellen, because, yeah, it kind of is all part of Billy's addictive personality. That's a great connection. Gary says regarding Nikki and her little approach of Adam in that little office scene, Gary says, such a little snot with her head held high, always sniffing out a bad smell. This faux high society queen wears so many hats, tender and fawning, all wisdom with faith, and then snobbing and judging almost everyone else in town. Benevolent when it serves her purpose, the milk of human kindness when appropriate. Adam conducted himself perfectly in trying to address Nikki's concerns. It must have frustrated her terribly. She and the daughter having a hard time and looking for the best in people. Yes, Adam has certainly given them cause. In another nod to another storyline, Adam is learning that, indeed, civility is the best revenge. Although he is not presently seeking revenge, good choice. Oh, Gary, that's so well written about Nikki and her character, that she's just so nice to certain people, and then other people are just off the list. And boy, you're right, she can turn on that. Calling her a little snot is kind of a great way of putting it, too, because she can turn that nose up in the air and just look down on you in just the right way. Gosh, Melody Thomas Scott played that really well. Very, very good comment, Gary. And Pagliacci says, if Adam is on the redemption tour, then I'm here for it. The look on Victor's face when he realized that Adam was not going after Billy Boy, priceless. Did Victor think that Adam was just going to bend to his will? That they were going to go into business together and Adam was just going to do everything Victor wanted him to do? I mean, Victor should know better by now. Ellen says, what is wrong with these people? They are way more angry with Adam for kissing Sharon than they are with Chelsea for poisoning Ray. And it's all Adam's fault somehow. The logic just escapes me. Because it isn't logical. Yeah, that's interesting too. It is almost like Chelsea gets a bit of a pass for poisoning Ray. I mean, the fact that Ray can even sit in the room with her and then maybe talk about helping her is ridiculous. Yeah, she's getting a pass. Leslie says, Chelsea poisoned Ray, and I'm thinking she probably poisoned that last husband of hers. Don't you think the police would be investigating that like they do in real life when a second spouse dies? Yeah, that's true. I didn't think of that. Wow. Chelsea certainly is the Black Widow. Well, we had quite a few comments about sets this week, so I thought we'd end up with this. Gary says, last week I wrote a post complaining about the Chancellor Park Town Square and how everyone arrives at the same wedding trellis camera spot when there should be so many more outdoor spaces to enjoy in the early pre-summer fresh air. Since writing that, this week, literally everyone in town did actually arrive at said spot to do more open air emoting, and it all just looks so very fake to me. It does not work for me. It is true. I didn't even think about it. I'm so in awe of any kind of difference visually on the show, any kind of new set. I'm always like, oh, this is great. I love being outside. But yeah, there used to be a whole lot more to that Chancellor Park. There used to be a sculpture. Remember Jill's sculpture? I think JT was buried around it at one point. There used to be a coffee shop, and there's definitely different outdoor pieces of that Chancellor Park outdoor that we've had before. I quite like the Rose Garden set, but as you say, Gary, it's not very realistic that everybody just one by one files through for their camera moment in the set. Yeah, it is very funny. And on sets here, Diana says, I thought it was a special treat to see Harrison in the spare bedroom upstairs at the Abbott mansion, as we never see bedrooms anymore. It was a nice, unexpected surprise to see Kyle reading a book to his Harrison. The book was nice, about fathers and sons. I wonder if Y&R had that book specially made for the show. I tried to find it online and I didn't see any children's books with that title and a matching picture. Oh, yeah, I noted the book, too. Daddy and Me, I think, was the title. I wondered about that, too, if that was a prop book, if it was specially made for Y&R. But Diana also, yeah, the bedroom. Jack's bedroom kind of looked similar. I remember what Jack's bedroom looked like, and Harrison in the guest room was very consistent with that. So, yes, it was nice to see a bedroom. You're right, we rarely see them unless it's for, you know, you know. Oh, final comment here comes from Superplex, who had a comment to follow up about last week's discussion on Sharon's house. Superplex agreed with me. Sharon's cottage looks very cozy. It looks like the kind of home that most people would prefer if they had the option of designing their ideal residence. There's no cheap drywall separating the living spaces from the bedrooms, solid stone walls that suggests a permanence, a hearkening of old medieval castles of Europe. You get the feeling that this home was intended to be a step above your typical American home. Yeah, you know, and the other thing too was that Sharon's house is like that with the stone, and it just feels very earthy. It's very elemental. And Crimson Lights is very much the same. Crimson Lights has that brick back wall, has all of the wood tables and benches. And the other thing I had to say though this week, I had a little bit of a moment where I could not believe what I was looking at. I think Y&R filmed one of the scenes. I think it was Adam Ray and that little confrontation at the coffee house. I think Y&R filmed one of the scenes a little too close to that brick wall, and I started to realize that's not brick. If you look real close at that Crimson Lights back wall, it looks like it's just painted on lines. It looks like it's a flat painted brick, like someone painted what should look like brick on that back wall. I've been looking at that set for, I don't know how many years now, 25 years now. That set's an old set. It's never once occurred to me that that's not, if not real brick, but that it was at least 3D brick, like faux brick. Looking at it this week and seeing it was just a flat painted brick. I hope that's not the case. I kept looking at it, hoping I was just getting an optical illusion or something, but I just about died the moment. I don't think I'll ever be able to not look at that brick wall again and be thinking about if it's fake or not. I cannot believe this happened to me. You are not going to ruin my fantasies with your hard dose of reality. Okay, everybody, that brings us to the end of another Y&R Chat. Hope you loved it. Hope you go to the website at yrchat.com to leave your comments, vote in the Sally poll, and just chat with us throughout the week about what's going on the show. It's always so nice to read what you guys are saying in real time or about each daily show. And yeah, just come back next week and we'll chat about the happenings in Genoa City. I hope you guys have a really good one. I love ya, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye.